So, how does someone who was rejected from dozens of jobs, we're talking even KFC, go on to build a global empire worth billions? Well, that's the incredible story of Jack Ma. And today, we're going to break down the 5 core habits that really powered his wild journey from failure to fortune. Let's just start with a number that kind of sets the stage. $40 billion. That's the estimated net worth of Jack Ma. And yeah, it's a staggering figure, but honestly, that number doesn't even begin to tell the real story. The real story is all about the mindset that got him there. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got his early life resume. Grew up poor, failed his university entrance exam twice, and faced just constant rejection. But on the other side, you've got the reality. Founder of Alibaba, a global icon. So what on earth bridged that massive gap between a life full of no and a world of incredible success? Well, the answer wasn't just luck or some single brilliant idea. Nope. His transformation was really fueled by 5 incredibly powerful habits that became his personal operating system, They allowed him to systematically turn pretty much every obstacle into a huge advantage. And here's our roadmap for today. We're going to dive into those 5 core habits: leading with your heart, learning from other people's mistakes, setting yourself up to win, turning complaints into opportunities, and of course, always remembering your why. All right, first up is a habit that goes way beyond the typical metrics of intelligence we always hear about. This one's all about harnessing the one thing that technology can never, ever replicate: our humanity. We all know about IQ, right? And EQ, emotional intelligence. But Jack Ma, he champions something he calls LQ, the love quotient. Think about it. In a world that's more and more driven by AI and algorithms, our biggest competitive edge is our humanity. A machine can calculate, but it can't care. LQ is all about building your team, your company, and your vision around that fundamental human connection. Howard Schultz of Starbucks understood this perfectly. He said they weren't in the coffee business serving people, they were in the people business serving coffee. The focus isn't just the product, it's the people you're serving. For any leader, this means you put the well-being and growth of your team first, because you know that a team that feels cared for will in turn care for the customers. It's a lesson that applies way beyond business. So, from leading with the heart, let's move on to a habit that completely challenges a really common business mantra. It's a bit counterintuitive, but believe me, it's incredibly powerful. Learn from mistakes, not just from success. This is a core piece of philosophy for Mom. And you might be asking, why? Well, think about it. Success stories are often unique, right? A product of specific timing, a little bit of luck. They're inspiring for sure, but not always that instructive. Mistakes, on the other hand, they give you clear, practical, and universal lessons on what to avoid. Failure really is the best teacher. The traditional mindset is that your competitors are the enemy. You gotta crush them. But Ma's mindset flips that completely on its head. He sees competitors as his best friends, an incredible and free source of learning that shows him exactly what traps to avoid and what customer needs just aren't being met. Okay, so learning from the past is one thing, but how do you prepare for the future? Our third habit is all about proactive planning for the challenges that are, let's be honest, inevitably gonna show up. It's about designing your environment to win. Ma is famous for thinking like 30 years ahead. You can apply that same strategic thinking in your own life with something called the if-then principle. It's actually really simple. First, you anticipate the obstacles that are gonna derail you. Then, you decide your response in advance. For example, if I feel the urge to procrastinate on a big project, then I will just work on it for 5 minutes. See? You're removing the need for willpower in that moment because you already have a plan. All right, next up, this one is a fundamental mindset shift. It's all about learning to see problems not as barriers you have to put up with, but as priceless gifts in disguise. Seriously, in business, in technology, even in our own lives, where do the biggest breakthroughs and the absolute best ideas really come from? And here is Ma's profound answer. He believes every single complaint is a signpost that points directly to an opportunity. Wherever people are complaining, there is a problem that needs to be solved. And if you can be the one to solve that problem, you have found your path to creating value and ultimately to success. So what powers all of these other habits? I mean, what keeps you going when learning from mistakes gets tough and the complaints just seem overwhelming? Well, that brings us to our final and most important anchoring habit. This right here, this is the fuel for the entire journey. Matt really stresses how vital it is to connect daily to that initial dream, that core purpose that got you started down this path in the first place. That why acts as your North Star. It's what saves you from doubt and it keeps you grounded and motivated, day in and day out. So there you have it, the 5 habits that helped build an empire from a huge mountain of rejections. Lead with your heart, learn from failure, plan ahead, find opportunity in complaints, and hold on to your why. These aren't just habits for billionaires. They're tools for absolutely anyone who wants to light their own success story. So the only question left is, which one will you start with?